let's dive into the world of web scraping using Python. We'll explore what it is, why Python is a great choice, and get our hands dirty with some practical examples. So, what exactly is web scraping? Imagine you're trying to collect information from hundreds or even thousands of websites. Doing it manually would be like trying to drink from a fire hose. Web scraping is essentially automating this process. It's like having a super efficient robot that can browse the web, follow links, and extract specific pieces of information you're interested in. Think of it as teaching your computer to read the internet like a book. This isn't just about downloading entire pages. It's about intelligently extracting structured data, like product prices, news headlines, or social media posts, from the often messy, unstructured HTML code that makes up websites. The applications are incredibly diverse, from businesses tracking competitor prices to researchers gathering data for studies, or even just building cool personal projects. Now, why Python? Well, if you're already familiar with Python, or even if you're not, you'll quickly see why it's become the go-to language for web scraping. First off, it has an incredible ecosystem of libraries, specifically designed for this task. Think of libraries like pre-built toolkits. You've got requests for easily sending those HTTP requests we talked about, Beautiful Soup for parsing HTML, Scrapy for building powerful scrapers, and Selenium for tackling those tricky JavaScript-heavy sites. Plus, Python syntax is clean and easy to read, which means you can write powerful scrapers without getting lost in a tangle of complex code. And let's not forget the massive community support and documentation. When you hit a snag, chances are someone else has too, and there's probably a solution readily available online. It's versatile enough to handle simple tasks and robust enough for complex, large-scale projects. Okay, let's get a bit more technical. At the heart of web scraping is understanding how we actually talk to websites. Websites live on servers, and to get anything from them, we need to send a request. Think of it like knocking on a door and asking for something. The most common type of request for scraping is the GET request. This is basically saying, "Hey server, I want to see what's at this address." The server then sends back a response, which usually includes the HTML content of the page. Python's requests library makes this super straightforward. Just import it, use requests, get with the URL, and boom. You've got the website's response. You can check the status code, like 200 OK meaning success, or 404 not found, and then access the raw HTML content using text. It's like getting the key to unlock the website's data. So, we've got the HTML content, but it's just a big block of text. How do we make sense of it? That's where HTML parsing comes in. HTML is structured using tags, like H1 for headings, P for paragraphs, A for links, and so on. Beautiful Soup is a fantastic Python library that takes this raw HTML and turns it into a structured document, what we call a parse tree. Think of it like turning a jumbled pile of Lego bricks into a neat, organized structure. Once you have this structure, you can navigate it, search for specific elements, and extract the data you need. You can find elements by their tag name, like soup, find one, or by their class or ID attributes, which are like labels you can attach to elements. It's like having a map of the website's structure, allowing you to pinpoint exactly what you're looking for. Now, how do we precisely tell Beautiful Soup which elements to grab? We use CSS selectors. These are like secret codes that tell the browser or our scraper exactly which parts of the HTML to target. It's similar to how cascading style sheets CSS work in web design, but we're using them for selection, not styling. You can select elements by their tag name, like all div tags. You can use class selectors, denoted by a dot, like product title to find elements with the class product title. ID selectors, using a hash, like number main content, are even more specific. There are also attribute selectors for targeting elements based on specific attributes. And combinators like greater than, plus, and tilde allow you to select elements based on their relationship to other elements. For example, div.content greater than p, main text is a powerful way to say, find paragraphs with the class main text that are directly inside divs with the class content. Mastering CSS selectors is like learning the secret language of the web, giving you precise control over your data extraction. Here's a curveball. Not all websites are created equal. Many modern websites rely heavily on JavaScript to load content dynamically. Think of those infinite scrolling feeds or interactive dashboards. If you tried to scrape these sites with requests alone, you might just get a blank page or incomplete data because requests doesn't execute JavaScript. This is where Selenium comes to the rescue. Selenium is like a virtual web browser driver. It actually launches a real browser, like Chrome or Firefox, and controls it programmatically. This means it can run JavaScript, wait for content to load, and interact with elements just like a human user would. You can simulate clicks, fill out forms, scroll through pages, and handle all sorts of dynamic interactions. It's like having a remote control for a web browser, allowing you to scrape even the most complex JavaScript-driven websites. Before we get too carried away with the power of web scraping, let's talk about ethics and legality. It's absolutely crucial to be responsible and respectful when you scrape the web. First and foremost, always check a website's terms of service and robots.txt file. These documents often specify whether scraping is allowed and what parts of the site you can access. Don't bombard servers with too many requests in a short period. Imagine if everyone did that, the internet would grind to a halt. Be mindful of rate limits and try to be a good digital citizen. Also, avoid scraping copyrighted material or sensitive information unless you have explicit permission. Think about privacy and data protection laws. Web scraping can have legal implications depending on your location and the type of data you're collecting. So, always proceed with caution, be transparent about your activities, and prioritize ethical considerations. For more serious large-scale scraping projects, you might want to move beyond Beautiful Soup and Selenium and explore Scrapy. Scrapy is a full-fledged web scraping framework. It's like going from using individual tools to using a complete workshop. It provides a structured way to build scrapers, handling everything from managing requests and responses to parsing data and storing it efficiently. Scrapy is built for performance, using asynchronous processing to handle multiple requests concurrently, making it much faster than synchronous approaches. It also has powerful features like item pipelines for processing and storing scraped data, and built-in support for handling cookies, sessions, and user agents. With Scrapy, you define spiders, which are classes that encapsulate the logic for crawling a website and extracting specific items. It's ideal for complex projects where you need to scrape multiple websites, handle pagination, and manage large amounts of data. So, where can you actually use web scraping? The possibilities are pretty much endless. In market research, companies use scrapers to analyze competitors' pricing strategies, track industry trends, and gauge customer sentiment on social media. Price monitoring is a huge application, with e-commerce platforms constantly scraping competitors to stay competitive. Content aggregation is another popular use case, from news aggregators to social media monitoring tools. Researchers love web scraping for gathering data for academic studies, literature reviews, and various forms of data analysis. Businesses leverage it for business intelligence, identifying new opportunities, optimizing marketing campaigns, and improving customer service by analyzing customer feedback and support interactions. Essentially, any field that relies on data can benefit from web scraping. It's a powerful tool for turning the vast amount of information available on the web into actionable insights. To wrap things up, web scraping is a really valuable skill in today's data-driven world. Python, with its rich set of libraries and simple syntax, makes it accessible and powerful. Remember to always be mindful of ethical considerations and legal boundaries. And like any skill, the best way to get better is through continuous learning and practice. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and happy scraping.